Here we have the e100 to e175 Go Now kit that we're going to install. As you can see, you're going to have two screws here with two small nuts, 8mm underneath it, and then two Phillips and two Phillips. And then underneath your throttle, you're going to have one Allen head set screw you're going to have to remove. You'll have to remove this covering so you can remove the throttle and cut the little zip tie off. That way you can just remove the throttle. Once inside, you'll find one Phillip head and another Phillip head. Those are holding the controller down. And then inside there you'll find another Phillip head you'll need to release to remove the throttle. Once the screws are removed, you'll want to unplug the throttle and everything connected to the controller, including the two yellow wires there that go to your on and off switch. You won't be using your on and off switch no more because your throttle will have an on and off switch on it. You're going to find a door here that you can lift to release that grommet. That way you can get the new bigger connector in. And also you can either leave this on and off switch or remove it and just put like some reflective tape over it. And the little black wire coming from the charger was only used to give the on and off switch ground to illuminate the switch, which no longer is needed. So you can either cut it as close as you can right next to it right there. Right down here. You can cut it here or you can just leave it. So now you want to remove the grip and remove the throttle. Pull the wire out. Install new throttle. When you install the new throttle, you want to make sure you loosen this up first to get it on there and then tighten it up once you get it about that close. You want to leave a space between there. You want to route this through the grommet and then into the hole and then put the door back over it. Make sure once you put the throttle through that you got enough wire to spin it side to side. Then you want to get underneath here and zip tie it back up. If you're going to be leaving the on and off switch, I suggest mounting it this way with the wires facing that way so you got somewhere to tuck it. If you're removing the on and off switch, which a lot of people do, you got more room doing it this way. And also it has outputs for headlights and taillights if you want to add those. If you're going to remove the on and off switch, you'll have to remove the hot glue and press down on each end to release it. Also, you will not be connecting your old brake handle as per the directions and per the listing. We sell a brake handle that will work. The brake handle does not have to be hooked up. And if you do try to hook up the factory brake handle, it will not run. So you have to buy one of our brake handles or just leave it simply disconnected. But if you want brake lights, you're going to need one of our brake handles. So pretty much you're just going to connect the motor, the battery, the throttle, and the charging port. The brake handle is going to stay loose. You're going to have these three connections left over: the brake handle, tail light, and brake light. If you're going to be adding our speed reducer, that is the spot for it. It's the best spot for it. It's in front of the controller. There's no wires left once the on and off switch is moved. And as you can see, everything fits in there. It's definitely tight. And you're just going to have to work with it to get them in there. But it does fit. Just make sure you don't knock your charger port wires off or anything shady like that, because then it won't charge. You'll always want to make sure you unplug your throttle and plug it back in. And also that is going to be the connection that has the most common problem, is some of the pins get bent when pushing in or shoving together. Make sure you plug the battery in last and you check to make sure that connector goes together nicely and that there's no bent pins in it. But before you put it all back together, go ahead and turn the scooter on, check your voltage. That's exact voltage. Never is it going to be 24 unless your batteries are pretty low, like these are obviously pretty low. It should be around 25.8. I know they're 12 volt batteries, but 12 volt batteries dead is 12.4 each. They go as high as 13.8 each. So you want to just test it. Don't require being pushed no more. Obviously it's working, so I'm going to go ahead and reassemble. Also, you leave all the screws out that you had in there to hold the controller down. It now just wedges in here. You don't need any of those other screws and stuff. You can put them aside in case you want to sell your existing controller and throttle. If you remove the on and off switch, I like to put a piece of reflective tape just to keep the moisture out of it. You also, if you want to decide to add taillights or brake lights, you can drill holes back here and mount the LEDs here. Some people like a little taillight on each side just so people can see side view, and then have two in the back or one in the back. However you want to set it up. And from here, you just want to put your screws back together. Make sure you don't have no loose wires. Tighten up this stuff and put the housing back on it. And then also, we're going to test a charge port and make sure we got voltage coming through there. And we're going to also test the output on the charger, make sure the charger is good. And from there, I'm going to give this scooter to one of the kids in the neighborhood. To test your charger, you simply plug it into the wall, and then you want to check the number 1 and the number 3. You don't got to worry about the center one. Just the number 1 and the number 3. It should give you a reading around 25.8. Sorry about that. 20. It's usually 27 point something. This one's showing 28, which obviously is pretty good. It should go from green to red while charging, or orange. In the light it looks orange, but it is red in person. Once plugged in, the scooter should always go red, orange for at least a second, even if the batteries are charged, so it knows it's reading. And from there you should charge it until it shuts off. If you got new batteries, unplug it every after 3 hours of charging, run it down, repeat like 3 or 4 times until the batteries sync together. Don't put a new set of batteries in and charge it overnight, or you'll damage your batteries most likely. So don't try that. Just if you're going to get new batteries, make sure you plug them in to charge for a couple hours, run it down, and then charge it for 3 to 4 hours, run it down, repeat 3 to 4 times, or until the charger starts shutting off by itself.